Hello, everyone. This is Holly Chantal, the founder of The Land of Brand, and your go-to guide for bringing your personality to the marketplace in your brand. And I am so excited that you're joining us today. We have a very special presentation planned, and please excuse the mess behind me. I just moved into this office and have not had a chance to redecorate yet. We also have a crazy thunderstorm going on, so we are going to cross our fingers that the internet holds out. So very excited to be talking to you today. I'm just waiting for everyone to get in. It looks like we have people from all over, which is really exciting. We have about 300 people registered for this webinar. So this is going to be a lot of fun. And I want to answer your questions at the end. So as we're going through, if you have questions, you can type them in on the right-hand side of your dashboard, and I will be able to see those at the very end, and we'll get you answers for those. I'll stay on the line as long as I need to. We have about an hour planned for the presentation, and then I'll stay on for questions as long as you are asking them. So let's go ahead and get started. Everyone's logging in. I just don't want anyone to miss any of the good stuff because if you've been on the Land of Brand webinars before, you know we jump right in and give you a ton of information. So get your notebooks ready, get a snack, get a drink of water, and let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to move on over and switch over to the presentation. Let's make this nice and big. Okay. Oh, hold on. It went back to small. I hit it twice. Sorry about that. Okay. So today's topic is blog marketology, which we will define later. But basically what we're talking about is how to become a category authority marketing in your spare time. So no longer are you going to be able to say, I don't have enough time to market, because this literally can be done in your spare time. So those little pockets of time that you have that you're not using for anything productive. And we'll talk more about that in a bit. So what are we going to talk about? We have lots of delicious content planned today. First, we have a stripped down marketing plan that you can keep up with and will build your brand visibility. So something that is bare bones. When we did our survey a couple weeks ago, many of you were asking, what is the bare minimum that I can do in order to build my brand? We're going to answer that question for you. We're also going to cover a time management strategy that will make you more productive than a woodchuck in a lumberyard, assuming woodchucks chuck wood. The biggest factor that holds coaches back from marketing and how to overcome it. And just a reminder, in case you missed it, if you leave your questions in the right-hand side of your dashboard, I will answer those at the end. So as we're going through, if you need clarification on something or you have a question that pops up, write it in there. You may need to reference what you're talking about because, like I said, I'm going to read these at the end and we're going to be moving very quickly. So not all of you are familiar with our webinars or who this Holly Chantal chick is and why I should be talking to you. So let's just do a quick introduction. I'd like to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about me and why I do what I do and why or how I came to know the things I know and why you should be listening. So I am a Book Yourself Solid certified coach. I worked personally with Michael Port and trained with him in 2009, so I've been around for about 5 years. And if you're not familiar with Book Yourself Solid, it is a New York Times best-selling marketing book. So it is a whole process of marketing yourself with full self-expression, with really authentic methods that make you and your clients feel good and attract the right clients to you. I'm also the creator of The Land of Brand, which obviously you're familiar with or you would not be here, and the Branding Game, which is our signature program and is a whole new way of looking at branding. And the funny thing is that my educational background is actually not in marketing. And the reason why I tell you this is because I consider it to be an asset. So I am not coming to you with the perspective of going to school and learning marketing. I don't come from a corporate business world. I literally have been starting my own businesses since I was about 19 years old, and I've figured out what works and what doesn't work through trial and error. So everything that I've learned does not come from formal training. Instead, it is in the trenches experience running 3 very successful businesses. And now I'm bringing those strategies to you because I want to teach you things that you don't have to learn through big mistakes. So my claim to fame is that I built a 6-figure business within 18 months, actually less than 18 months, but 18 months sounds good, using the strategies that I'm going to be sharing today. So the marketing strategies and the stripped down marketing plan that I'm going to be sharing with you is the same marketing plan that we use in the Land of Brand and has allowed us to grow quickly and to build a visible brand in the coaching world and establish ourselves as category authorities in website design for coaches and branding for coaches. So these are the same strategies that you can implement yourself because they are super easy. It can be done in your spare time. I am not someone that spends a ton of time marketing because I want to be spending my time doing things that I love. And we'll talk a little bit about how your marketing activities can also overlap with your passions and what you love doing. So today's webinar is going to be fast, fun, and informative. So I hope you guys are ready. You have your pens ready. You have your fingers ready to type in questions, and let's go ahead and get started. So being a coach is awesome, and I know that not all of you are coaches, and that's okay. I forgive you. Many of you, though, are solopreneurs, so you're going to be able to resonate with this whether or not you're a coach. We just work with a lot of coaches, which is why we use the word. It's our target market. And so whether or not you're a coach, you should be able to relate to these things because you are in business for yourself. So why is being a solopreneur or a coach awesome? Well, you get to set your own hours and work in your PJs. A couple weeks ago, I was doing the laboratory webinar and I had a really rough morning and I wasn't even dressed yet. Yet I was still able to get on the phone. Didn't share my camera, but I was still able to get on the phone and do my work even though it was total chaos around me. So being able to have that flexibility is part of living the entrepreneur lifestyle, and we start this because we enjoy having that laid-back atmosphere and being able to do what we want when we want. You get paid for your expertise. So you are getting paid what you're worth as long as your pricing is proper. You're getting paid to share what you know and love, and you get to create whatever your heart desires. So you are in control of your business. You're not taking orders. You're not creating things that other people are interested in. You get to do whatever you want. So if you want to create a virtual home study program that you can literally create once and sell over and over again, you can do that. And you can do it on whatever you want, whatever your expertise is, whatever you're passionate about. If you want to work one-on-one with people and get really deep in making a huge impact on their lives, you can do that. You can literally do whatever you desire. And in so doing, you get to share your passion and your message with the world. So all of us start our businesses because we are passionate about something. We have a message that we want to share and a message that we want to get out there to impact other people's lives. That is probably one of my favorite things about coaches is their passion and how much they deeply want to help people. So they have a very unique way of looking at the world and a very heartfelt way of being able to share their experiences and overcoming the challenges, the experiences they have overcoming challenges with their clients and help them overcome their challenges in the same ways. I'm pretty sure if I asked any one of you on this webinar if you've had a turning point in your life or some kind of aha moment that triggered you into wanting to be a coach, that each of you would have one of those. And that's what I love about coaches, is uncovering what those aha moments are, and then how do we turn that into a business, and how do we create the business of their dreams and allow them to reach more and more people. But even though being a coach is awesome, getting started is hard. It's not easy. You don't just say I'm a coach and hang your shingle and everything falls into place. You don't only get to live your passion and just do what you want. You also have to run a business. So running a business is part of being a coach. And for some of you, that's a fun part. I love running a business. That's why I've been starting businesses since I was 19. And for others, the business side of things may be a challenge, and that's okay, because there are easy ways that you can use your passions and what you're really good at and make those into your marketing and your business endeavors, which is what we're going to be talking about today. You also have to put yourself out there in a big way. You have to be willing to be seen. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and market yourself. You have to continually grow and learn. You need to stay on the cutting edge of your industry. You need to live your talk and continually grow and learn and as you grow your business. And if you can do all of this, then the sky is the limit. You can literally do anything you want, which is really inspiring and exciting. So being a coach is awesome. It can also be a challenge. And the thing that you need to remember is that you can have it all. You can have anything you want. You just need to be able to get yourself out there. You need to be able to market yourself and get visibility and build your reputation and your brand as the go-to person in your field. And that is all about marketing. So why don't we do more of that? Why is marketing such a big challenge? Like I said, we have 300 people on this webinar today, and you wouldn't be here if marketing was super easy for you, because that's what this webinar is about learning how to market yourself and how to get yourself out there in a big way. So that's obviously a huge pain point for you guys. When we did the survey, half of the people that took the survey said that marketing was a challenge for them. So that is a big percentage of the people that took the survey. So you know that this is important. So let's talk about what is the number one factor that holds you back. The number one factor that holds you back from putting yourself out there is fear. And I'm not talking about the boogeyman kind of fear, like someone's going to jump out at me or something kind of creepy, or the I'm about to fall off a cliff kind of fear. This is much more subtle than that. This kind of fear is the kind of fear that you may not even notice. It's in the back of your mind, and it is holding you back, and it is slowly suffocating your business. It's the fear of being seen. Will people laugh at me? Who am I to say that I'm an expert? Will people understand what I'm trying to say? Will people take me seriously if I market myself in that way? Fear of failure. What if my idea doesn't work? What if I'm wasting my time? What if I invested all of this money for nothing? What if I end up having to go back and get a job? And then we have the other side, which is fear of success. What am I going to do if all of these clients sign up? What am I going to do if I actually have to start coaching people? For those of you that are starting out, that may be a concern. You don't have the confidence yet that you're going to be able to help people. Or you may be so busy with clients already, or you may be busy with your full-time job, and you're not sure how you're going to handle any more work. So you may actually not be putting yourself out there because in the back of your mind, you're afraid that people are actually going to listen. So when I started my business, I experienced pretty much all of these. Because, like I said, this is the number one thing that holds people back from getting themselves out there. Therefore, obviously, it was true for me too. I'm not invincible. I started my business, invested all of my savings. So I invested in my coach training. It was something that I knew that I wanted to do. And I had been saving up for a couple years. And I didn't just invest my savings in the coaching program itself. I invested my savings in supporting myself while I was getting my business going. I had just graduated college. I hadn't found a full-time job. I was running another business that I had started in college, and it was, coming close to paying the bills. But this was, at the end of 2008 when everything kind of tanked, and maybe it wasn't the best time to start a business, but I was very naive. Like I said, I had just graduated college, and I spun my wheels for 18 months. I feel like that's the magic number. 18 months of this start-stop cycle. Do I have the right target market? Do I have the right niche? Am I marketing myself in the right way? Are the blog posts I'm writing the right blog posts? Is my writing good enough? Or do people think I'm an amateur? Should I be working with those professionals or those professionals? Should I be offering this kind of coaching or that kind of coaching? And what would happen is I would grasp onto a market, and I would market. I'd start, doing blog posts. This is when Twitter was just coming out, so I started doing Twitter, and I started trying to reach out to other professionals that were in that niche. And then I'd stop because I wasn't getting the feedback that I needed to know that I was on the right track. And I was constantly wondering, am I doing this right? And that fear of, am I doing this right? And that lack of knowing that I was on the right track and I was going to be moving forward in the way that I needed to be held me back from doing anything further. So I'd stop, and then I'd start again, and I'd stop, and I'd start again. And I know that many of you have experienced this because I feel, and I've said this before, that when you start your business for the first 18 months, that seems to be the magic number, you're going to go through this. It's a learning experience. And then after 18 months, you realize that you need help. So for some of you, if you get help earlier than that, fantastic. You are going to be ahead of the curve. And some of you, you may be at this point right now where you realize, maybe I can't do this on my own. Maybe I need help to know. And it's not even that you are not good at what you're doing or that you don't know enough yet. All it is just knowing that you're doing it right, knowing that you should be moving forward and that you're on the right track, because that is the answer to fear. So the opposite of fear is confidence. And I wish that I had someone to tell me that I was on the right track and help me course correct if things were off. Because even though I personally knew what I needed to do, I mean, I was certified as a marketing coach, right? I knew these steps that I was supposed to be taking, but I did not have the experience to know whether or not I was taking those steps in the right ways. I needed to know that I was doing it right. And this is one of the principles in blog Marketology, which is the program that we're launching today. This is one of the principles in blog Marketology that as you implement the marketing plan that you're going to be creating, you're going to be getting guidance and feedback on an individual basis. And that's why we're limiting it to only 25 people, which I let you guys know that in an email, that there's only going to be 25 people in this program because I want to be able to give you individual feedback. And for those of you that have been in landed brand programs before, whether it's the branding game or the website design, you know how important that individual feedback is. So taking what you are writing and taking your particular business and making sure that everything is geared toward that market and that you're saying the right things and that you're taking the right actions and knowing and having confidence that what you're doing is going to get you results. So that way you know that you can move forward and you're getting that kind of feedback and you're not just marketing in a vacuum. So what I needed was a conductor. So if you think about it, a musician can read music, or we'll assume that we're talking about a musician that can read music. So they know what to play. And technically, they also know how. So if I play the trumpet, I know how to play the trumpet, and I can look at a sheet of music and I can read it and I can play that piece of music. But when I have a conductor, they're guiding me into more than just playing. So maybe I'm playing in an orchestra and I'm in that flow with all of the other instruments around me. Or even if I'm playing alone, a conductor will help me speed up and slow down as I need to. They'll help me put personality into it and more expression into it because they are guiding me with their hands and their body language, and I'm following them and listening to what they're telling me to do. So instead of just playing a piece of music, I'm embodying that piece of music and I'm creating something much more than I would be able to do on my own. So a conductor, it helps the musician find their flow. They help them be a part of the bigger picture, and they help them speed up and slow down and crescendo and soften. And that's what you need sometimes in your business, is you need that conductor to help give you the confidence and to do bigger things than you would have thought possible. So overcome that fear that is holding you back in your business. All right, 1 second. I need to take a sip of water. All right, I'm feeling a tickle in my throat coming on, so give me 1 second. Does not always happen when you're doing a webinar. You get that tickle in your throat and you need to cough. Apologize for that. We are back on track. All right, so the second factor that prevents you from marketing is the lack of time. Unfortunately, we can't put more sand in that hourglass. There's only a set amount of time each day, and depending on what other commitments you have, the time that you can devote to your marketing and your business could be very limited. Because oftentimes you're still working full-time when you first start growing your business. You are working full-time and you're running your business in your spare time. When I first started, I think I told you guys this story before. So I said I invested my savings in the coach training as well as supporting myself while I was starting my business. Well, that ran out within the first year, and I had to find a job. I actually moved across 5 states and found a job as a residence director at a school where I had a live-in position, but my hours were flexible. But I was literally working 100 hours a week on weeks on end. So in the summers, I was working about 105 hours a week, 7 days, working 7 days a week, nonstop. And I had to run my business during that time. So I totally hear you when you feel like you don't have time because you have another job to be attending to. And it's no secret that it's a challenge to find a balance between those two things, to be able to commit to your responsibilities in your job as well as committing to your responsibilities in your business. And even if you've grown to the point where you are now an entrepreneur full time, chances are you're still pretty busy because now you have clients to worry about. Now you have clients that you need to be paying attention to and that are going to be taking your time and keeping your attention away from marketing. So when we start our businesses, oh, let me switch this slide. So I realized I didn't switch the slide early enough. Sorry about that. So you started your business because you're passionate about what you do. We already talked about this a little bit. So you have a calling, you have some kind of experience that you've had that you just really want to share that with the world and make sure that other people are able to overcome that same challenge and help people. Marketing is more of a necessary evil. Marketing is something that you have to do in order to grow your business, and you have to overcome all of those fears, and you have to do these activities that you may not be familiar with, and it can be a really big challenge. And there are two solutions to this. So the first solution is that you make marketing an expression of that passion. So you make marketing an extension of the work that you're called to do and an expression of the message that you want to share. And the second thing you can do is leverage your marketing so that you're making the most of your efforts. So this way, the effort that you're putting into your marketing is leveraged, so it's taking you less time. You're not having to spend more time than absolutely necessary in order to get your business to where you want it to be. So we're going to talk about these two things and how to do those. But first, let's talk about what is marketing really. So marketing is about creating awareness of you and your services. So it's bringing people into your sales cycle. Marketing in itself is not a sales tool. What it does is you're putting your information out there, you're putting your face out there, and you're bringing people back into your conversion tools like your website, your landing pages, sales pages, those kinds of things. So your website and the landing pages are doing the conversion job. They have the opt-in offer, they have your sales copy, they have the webinar registrations. And the marketing is bringing people to those pages so that they can make a decision whether or not they want to engage with you. So how do we create this awareness while expressing your passion? The answer is content marketing. So content marketing is something that you've probably all heard before, especially if you're around the land of brand. Basically, we're talking about sharing your knowledge, sharing your information, and sharing your message through blogging, through social media, through article databases. Basically, we're finding different ways to get your content out there. So why content marketing? So first of all, you get to share what you love. So you're going to be sharing your knowledge, your strategies, and your stories. You get to talk about what you love. You get to talk about that thing you're really passionate about. You get to totally geek out about it because that's what you do. And you're creating awareness for it. And you're building your credibility as an expert in that area because you're sharing your personal experiences. You're sharing what you know about the subject. So you're getting to geek out, you're getting to build your credibility, and you're getting to help people overcome challenges, even more than just working with them. Your marketing can still have a huge impact on people's lives. And you may be asking yourself, well, how am I supposed to get paid if I'm giving that information away for free? And the answer to that is you will make much more of an impact on the world and on people's lives through your marketing than just working with clients. The clients that are going to hire you are the ones that need that extra help, and you only need to have a small subset of the people you're reaching actually hire you in order to make the living of your dreams. So don't hold back. The more generous you are, the more of a relationship you're going to be building with your following. And the more people are going to think of you when they do need that extra help. And the more of an impact you're going to have, which is really a big part of why you started your business. So as you're starting to share this information, people are going to begin to look to you for answers, and they're going to start following you. They're going to start looking for when you're offering courses. They're going to start looking for opportunities to hire you when it's right for them. And they're going to be listening to you, and they're going to be giving you that feedback and that encouragement you need to keep going. It is such a joy when I open my email in the morning and I see emails from people that are on the laboratory calls or people that have read articles on our blog, and they're giving that positive feedback. That's really what keeps you going. So embrace that and put as much information out there as you can. And as you're doing that, you're going to get back a lot more in the form of clients, in the form of being able to support yourself doing what you love. But I promise to tell you what the bare minimum would be to be effective. So this is, first, before I tell you that, I need to tell you the difference between these two types of marketing. So the first is content marketing, which is what we talked about. And I say that that's passive marketing because you're putting information out there and you don't actually have to talk to anyone to do it. It's very non-engaging, or you're not having to engage people. You're not having to step out of your comfort zone too much. You really are just sharing your knowledge and putting it out there and hoping people find it. And we'll talk about how, to make that more effective than the way it just sounded. And relationship marketing is more active. You're actually actively reaching out to people to get in front of your market. So you're reaching out to other people in your industry. You're reaching out to meeting planners, people that can get you in front of your target market. And this is much faster than content marketing. It allows you to grow your business in leaps and bounds. So in one marketing activity, you may add 200, 300, or thousands of people to your list. But the problem is that it requires you to step further out of your comfort zone than you might be ready for. And you still have to maintain consistency, or you're going to risk just being a flash in the pan success. So either way, you need to have consistency. So what I recommend is that you start with content marketing because it's easier to stay consistent. You can hone your material and your message and really identify what resonates with your market. And it also has a lasting effect and builds over time because once you post something to the internet, it stays there. And as you build this content asset, you're going to be building your traffic, you're going to be building your credibility, and it's always going to be there as an asset for you. Once you've established that, then I recommend adding relationship marketing for a 1-2 punch, because now you can find people to get in front of. You can drive traffic back to your website through joint ventures, through speaking, and the content that's there is going to further the relationship with that prospect and further your credibility and speed up that sales cycle. Plus, it has a longer lasting effect because you're not just getting people on your website for a short period of time, but you have this ongoing stream of traffic from your content. So what is the bare minimum that you have to do for your content marketing strategy? And this is literally the bare minimum. And this is literally all we do at the Land of Brand outside of relationship marketing, which we do still do, we could do more of. 1 blog post a week, so write 1 article, promote it across social media and select article databases. So when I say select article databases, we're not talking about going to one of those article spinners or those article submission services and having them send it to 100 different databases. It's not going to help you. There's select article databases that have the right credibility, they have your target market there, and they have the type of traffic that you're looking for. So there's certain ones that are more important than others. And then you need to write a newsletter at least bi-weekly. I recommend weekly, but we're talking about the bare minimum here. So at least bi-weekly. When you get to monthly, it's not frequent enough, because then people are hearing from you every now and then instead of being reminded of you frequently. And if you're doing other emails to your list, so if all you're sending right now is a newsletter, and then it has to be at least bi-weekly. If you're sending a lot of invitations to webinars, or you're doing other kinds of promotion and you're at least touching your list once a week, then maybe you can go to a monthly newsletter. But it really is depending on where you are in your business now. So what I'm talking about is someone that is just starting out, isn't doing a lot of promotion, and literally you're just trying to figure out what is the consistent marketing you should be doing. This is it. But that looks really easy, right? But here's the thing. Here's the thing, is that you have to leverage all of these things properly in order for it to work. So in order for this bare minimum to be effective, you have to make sure you're picking the right topics that you're writing about, the topics that are going to speak to your target market, that is going to attract them to you. You need to be posting them in the right places. Like I said, you can't just send it to an article submission service and have them put it on 100 different databases. It may help you in the short term, but it's really not going to have a quality effect for you. It needs to have the right structure. So you need to be writing in a way that is shareable and commentable, and that people can actually consume and understand. You want to make sure that people like your content and can use your content. And you have to have a overall strategy. So your articles need to fit in with your marketing strategy. They need to fit in with selling your programs, and they need to fit in with your overall brand. They need to have the right keywords. So you need to have search engine optimization in mind. If you're writing all of these articles and you're trying to build an asset that's going to consistently send you traffic over time, then search engine optimization is really important. You also need to have the right titles. So the titles of these posts need to speak to your target audience, to get people to click on them, so find your website with. And they also, there's a lot that goes into these titles that are going to make them the most effective for you. So now, suddenly, this really easy marketing strategy, this bare minimum that you need to be doing, sounds really complicated, I bet. Suddenly, you're back in the overwhelm of, am I doing this right? How do I do that? How do I apply these principles to my unique business? And you don't have to be a ninja. So you don't have to know all of these things right off the bat. You don't have to go out and incorporate this marketing strategy into your business right now and expect to know everything. Oh, I'm getting some notes that the presentation went mute. Okay. I think I'm back. See, there's a little bit of a lag, so let me know if you're still having trouble hearing me. There was something going on with my headset, so hopefully that's going by. And man, we're at 40 minutes and we still have so much to cover, so I'm going to start speeding through. So you need the structure to know what to do when. So you need that guidance. You need practice so you can gain experience and know you're doing it right. And you need course correction when you're about to derail. So what you need is, instead of trying to be a ninja and do all of these things at once, is incorporate one piece at a time, build the correct habits. So build the habits that you need in order to be able to maintain this kind of marketing and have it not take a ton of time. And the best way to do that is with a guide. It's with someone holding your hand, that conductor we were talking about, which could also be a coach, someone that's going to help you take the what and the how and incorporate it into your own business. And that is blog marketology. So that's the course that we're starting and that we're opening up literally right now. So blog marketology is the scientific formula for getting the most visibility and authority with the least amount of time invested. And it's 6 weeks of bite-sized pieces. So we're going to take all of those pieces that you just saw on that board. We're going to break them down into really easy to manage pieces so that you can start implementing as you go. And as you're implementing, you're going to get individual feedback. So you will, when we talk about titles, I'll talk to you about how to write the titles, how to structure them. You're going to write titles, and then I'm going to give you feedback on those titles, help you tighten them up, help you rewrite them, help you understand and practice these skills that you're learning so that as you move forward, you can do it on your own. And you also have now a database of titles that you can pull from that you know are going to work and you can implement. You're going to develop the habits you can stick with. So these things are going to become second nature to you. You're going to be able to judge what's working and what's not working. And you're going to have the mad skills to carry you on the long haul. So you're going to learn how to apply these types of strategy to your business. So we do have one more piece that we're going to talk about, where you still need to talk about the time management strategy. I want to let you know I have not forgotten that. But first, I'm just going to take a moment to talk about how to sign up for the program because, as you guys know, I love to offer something special for those of you that are live. So if you are interested in blog marketology, you can go to the web address on your screen. I'm going to open up a new tab on your browser because I'm like super cool like that. All right, so I just opened up a new tab on your browser that sends you right to that page. If you're listening to the replay, then you can pause this and type it in. And so you can look at the sales page because it really describes what the program is all about. And the early bird pricing starts at $497, and that can be broken into 2 monthly payments. And if you're live on the webinar and you sign up before we're done, so probably about 3:30, 4 o'clock Eastern time, we'll just say 4 o'clock Eastern time and I'll turn it off at that point. You get the Peaks of Personality bonus for free. So the Peaks of Personality is the first module of the branding game, which many of you are familiar with. You can get that module with blog marketology for free. And the reason for that is part of marketing is not just giving the right content and writing the right blog posts and posting things in the right pages. It's also about incorporating your personality and capturing your unique voice so that everything you're putting out there is an expression of you, and people are really getting to know you as they're reading your content. So the Peaks of Personality will help you with that. It'll help you find your voice. It'll help you find the parts of your personality you want to incorporate into your marketing. It'll help you uncover the stories that you can share in your articles, your blog posts, your social media. So it's going to help you do that. And that's part of the premium package. But if you sign up for the basic package before 4 o'clock Eastern time, then that is included. And you can actually start that right away. So the course, the blog marketology course, starts on September 4th, so it's in a few weeks. But you can get if you get the Peaks of Personality, you can start that now and be ready and raring to go in September. So it's kind of to keep you occupied and give you a head start as you go. And I'm just seeing, I'm not going to answer a ton of questions right now because we do have a lot of content to cover, but I see 2 right now that are important. So is this course for any business owner now, no matter where they are in their business, or only for newbies? That's a fantastic question, Kim. So this course is for someone that is having a hard time consistently marketing. So if you have not started your marketing, then it's great because we're going to break down the basics. or if you are marketing right now and you're not getting the results you want, or you're having a hard time keeping up with the being consistent, then what this is going to do is help you get back to the basics of those foundational pieces, the writing the right titles, the keywords, picking the right topics. So making sure that everything you're doing is extremely targeted and is the right actions you should be taking. And then Nancy asks, is this course applicable for solopreneurs who are not coaches? Absolutely. So all of our programs are geared toward people that are in businesses for themselves. We just particularly enjoy working with coaches. It's kind of, it's our niche. And there are plenty of other solopreneurs that we also adore. We work with real estate agents. I've worked with interior decorators. So people that are in business for themselves that want to brand themselves as an expert, that this program will be perfect for. So if you have any other specific questions, type them in and I will answer them at the end. But first, while you guys are looking at that, let's go ahead and talk about time management. So productivity is different for everyone. Some people thrive when they're busy and others crash. So I'm the type of person that if I'm not busy, I'm not getting anything done. I don't know, many of you are like that as well. Like I have to have 10 things on my plate or I'm not going to get anything done because I thrive under pressure. Other people, when they're under that pressure and they're busy, it just doesn't work for them. And there's no right or wrong here. These are just different styles that people have. Some people need a lot of lead time to get into the groove. So, you need an hour to prepare before you can even start writing your blog post, where other people can sit down and just start writing. Some need to plan down to the minute. So they need to have a schedule of what they're doing every minute of every day. And others just go with the flow. So depending on the types of needs you have and how you enjoy spending your time and what keeps you productive, some of these things may change a little bit. So I'm going to give you kind of a loose structure for managing your time and to be able to do these things in your spare time because you actually have more time than you may think. Throughout your day, you have what I call time pockets. And this is something that I've utilized since college. And especially now with my business where I'm managing, anywhere between 10 and 20 projects for clients, plus my projects, plus coaching, plus marketing, is you find these little time pockets in your day. So if a meeting ends early and you have 10 minutes before your next meeting, someone doesn't show to a meeting, that's like 45 to 60 minutes. You're waiting for your lunch to cook, so I put something in the microwave. I have 5 minutes. My computer is downloading something and I can't use it, maybe 10 minutes. So you find that you have these little pockets of time throughout the day, and these are just some examples, but oftentimes what we use these for are to check Facebook, to watch a video on YouTube, to look something up really quick. Sometimes we just sit there and stare at the wall and think, or you take a nap. And there's no judgment there, I do it too. That is also one of the joys of being an entrepreneur is that we can take naps during the day if we have some downtime, so right on. However, you can use these time pockets to get things done. And here is an easy way to do that. You have to look at the other side, which is the things you have to do. So if you break down the activities in your marketing plan, you'll find that they may not take as much time as you think when you break them down into bite-sized pieces. So picking a topic you're going to write about and outline it may take you 10 minutes. Writing the actual blog post may take you an hour. Optimizing that post, so putting in the keywords, which we'll teach you how to do, 5 minutes, tops. Posting to your blog, 5 minutes, tops. Again, it can take less than that. Breaking a post into status updates for your social media, which is also something we'll help you do, 15 minutes. Scheduling those updates into Hootsuite or another scheduling software, 10 minutes. Posting your articles to databases, about 5 minutes each. And some of these will take less. Most of the time, they're not going to take more. And when I was talking about how some people may need more time than others to settle in or to be able to get into the groove of writing, you can kind of space these out. So for me, I don't take very long to write a blog post. It takes me, maybe 30, 45 minutes. The caveat being, I cannot sit down and just start writing a blog post. I have to have picked my topic at least 3 days prior. So around Wednesday is when I decide what I'm going to write that week for my newsletter. My newsletter usually comes out on Sundays. So around Wednesday is when I pick my topic, and then I stew on it for about 3 days. So it's kind of in the back of my mind, and I'm kind of outlining it as I'm thinking like, ooh, I'd like to talk about that. Oh, I should talk about that. So I have ideas before I sit down. And then when I actually sit down, it only takes me a few minutes to write it because I've been thinking about it all week. So depending on what your style is, you may want to space these things out, which is why it's really helpful when they are in bite-sized pieces. Others, you just want to sit down and hammer it all out, and you take, let's add these up. That's 15, 30, actually it comes out to about 2 hours. So maybe you block out 2 hours and do it all at once. But 2 hours a week is not a lot of time. And if you don't think you have 2 hours a week, I would like to remind you that you have blocked out at least an hour for this webinar, and you could get half of your marketing done in that time. And I'm pretty sure you probably have another hour that you could block out to do this, maybe while you're listening to another teleseminar. You can be posting to your article databases or scheduling updates. So typically what I do is I have a menu. Or it's a to-do list, but I like to call it a menu. And basically on this menu, I keep it in my calendar, and it has small to-dos, long to-dos, easy things, complex things, things that are really important, things that could probably wait. And when I have those little downtimes, so if I end a meeting early and I have 5 minutes, or someone doesn't show up for a call and I have an hour, I pick something off the menu to do, and I complete it. And then I cross it off. And this allows me to do all these little bits and pieces throughout the week. I also have times that are blocked off to do the longer things. So for example, because I need to have been thinking about my topic for about 3 days and stewing on it and getting the ideas and gathering them before I can sit down and write, I schedule my writing time. I write usually on Sunday mornings. So Sunday mornings, I sit down and I actually write my post. That's a time that I've blocked off in my schedule. My husband takes the baby. They go out usually to the store or to a farmer's market or something, and I sit down and I write. So some things you will have to schedule into your day-to-day schedule, and other things can be done on the fly. So here's a recap of what we've covered. So in order for you to live your dream with your dream business, you have to be marketing yourself. You need to be getting yourself out there. And confidence is key in doing that, because you need to feel like you're moving in the right direction and keep you motivated. If you're not getting that kind of feedback, you're going to have that start-stop cycle. So if you're not getting feedback from people that are purchasing your programs, or giving you feedback, people commenting, people emailing you, which takes a while to get to. It takes a while to start building that credibility and that visibility. You're going to keep starting and stopping, even if you're already on the right track. So if you have someone there with you, giving you that confidence and giving you that feedback, then you don't feel like you're marketing into a vacuum. Marketing can be another way to express your passion and help the people you were meant to serve. So you can really use marketing as an outlet for geeking out about what you're really interested in, and as an outlet for really helping people in a really big way. And having a coach while you practice is going to help you gain the experience and the skills you need to move forward on your own. So blog Marketology is the answer to this question. So by the end of 6 weeks, these are some of the things you'll take away. You're going to have a content cave of topics with keyword-rich titles that you can pull from for the next year. You can craft a manageable system for promoting your content and driving hundreds and thousands of new visitors to your website. So we're talking about a manageable system that you can consistently implement is completely customized for your business that you've gotten feedback on and know you're on the right track, and then you can just move forward and keep going. You're going to feel confident that you know what you're doing and you're ready to put yourself out there. So you're going to have that confidence that you're on the right track. You're going to have your keywords and your categories already implemented on your website for search engine optimization. So you're going to have your categories done. You know what posts go into which categories. You're going to know how to optimize each of your blog posts, what keywords that you should be using. You're going to have all that information. And if you ever change your keywords or you decide to add something new, you're going to know how to do that research. You're also going to be able to keep up with everything with ease because you're going to be a marketing ninja. That is the goal, is, ninjas, they start out and they do the small pieces over and over again. And then they start putting them together. And then suddenly they're totally kicking butt. And by the end of the 6 weeks, you guys are going to be kicking butt. So the format is a weekly teleseminar. They start on September 4th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And half of the teleseminar is going to be me presenting the topic and the assignment. So giving you one bite-sized piece that you're going to take forward and start implementing. And then the other half will be hot seats and live coaching. So for example, if the topic that week is on creating titles, what we'll do is I'll have a volunteer and I'll ask you questions to start brainstorming titles, and we'll do them right on the call there so you can see how it's done. You can start implementing it into your own business, and then you go do the assignment and submit it, and I review it and send you back personal feedback. So that's how these teleseminars work and the learning environment works. So you post your assignments privately. No one else can see them but you and me. And I'm going to give you feedback on each of them and suggestions to help you improve, help you course correct, or help you tell you that you're on the right track. So that way you can apply every strategy you're learning to your business. And the whole thing is done in bite-sized steps that's going to make the whole process as easy as pie. So we're talking super, super easy. So how do you sign up? You can go to thelandedbrand.com/blog-marketology. So you can type that into your browser, or if you still have that window open, you can use that. Early bird pricing starts at $4.97 and can be broken into 2 monthly payments. The early bird pricing will be ending on August 22nd. We only have 25 spots available. I wanted to remind you guys of that. So we have 300 people on this call. It's also going to go out to my list of about 7,500. So there's only 25 spots because I'm going to give everyone very individualized attention, so I can only take so many people. And if you sign up now, so before 4 o'clock Eastern, then you're going to get the Peaks of Personality bonus for free, and that's something you can start right away, even though the course doesn't officially start until September. So you can already get started and get into the groove and start finding your voice and thinking about how you're going to really express yourself in your marketing, and you can get that started. Plus, it's a pretty big chunk of the branding game, which I know a lot of you have heard of, and that's also a fantastic program. So that's all I have for you today. I'm going to start answering questions that are in the chat. So if you have questions as we go, feel free to type those into the chat. There is about a 30-second delay from what I'm saying and you guys actually hearing it. So we may be running a little bit off. So I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning and start answering the first few questions. The other thing is I want to let you know that if you're interested in the program and you have a couple questions that you don't want to ask on the chat, you can email me personally at holly@thelandedbrand.com, and I will happily answer those questions for you. I'm also happy to jump on the phone and answer questions to make sure that this is the right program for you. Make sure that it's going to be a good fit, and if you have any things that are unclear, I'm happy to answer any of that. All right, so I'm going to go down to the beginning. All right, so Anthony asks, will there be a replay of this program? I joined a bit late. Yes, so the replay, you'll be getting an email with that link so that you can listen to this again because we covered a lot of information. So you may want to go back and take notes again. I totally understand that. Julie says, what do you mean by newsletter? How is that different than the blog post? Fantastic question, Julie, and that is something that we cover in the course. So your blog posts are what go onto your website. And those are what end up attracting people to the site itself. And they drive traffic for you, drive your search engine rankings, and really your blogging is marketing. A newsletter is what is sent out to the people that have subscribed to receive your emails. So these are people that have requested information from you. You can actively market to them, and you send out your blog posts to them because they've basically requested to receive them. So when you post your blog, it doesn't automatically go to everyone that's subscribed. You have to do that manually. So your newsletter is how you do that. And your newsletter typically has a note from you, like a personal note from you, maybe insight into your personal life, insight into something that you are doing in your business, a program that's launching soon, any kind of announcements you have go into that little note. Then you have any events that are coming up you usually announce. You have your article of that week that you want to share, which is the content piece. Maybe you have some testimonials. So there's a lot of different things that can go into your newsletter. And we'll be covering kind of what goes into it and how to structure it. But the biggest difference is blog goes to your website, newsletter goes to your list. They can have the same content, so the blog post you post to your website is going to go into your newsletter, but it's a little bit different. Or it's used differently, rather. Alice says, how do you find the right article databases? So there are, I can name a couple off the top of my head. I'd have to go back to my list. And we will be sharing those databases with you in the course. But there's particular databases that have a good reputation. Some of them you do have to pay to be a part of, or at least one of them that I'll mention. And they are active resources for people that are looking for the kind of information we provide as coaches. So one of them is easyinarticles.com. That's a very popular database. It's been around forever. So it has good search engine rankings. I usually post to that. Biznik, B-I-Z-N-I-K, biznik.com is a paid service. It's $14 a month, I believe. And that has a really good reputation, a really great community, drives a ton of traffic. I can get anywhere from 400 people to 1,000 people looking at any of my articles on that service, which is why it's worth paying for. What's another one? Selfgrowth.com is great for coaches. So basically what you want to do is search for article databases and find the ones that have active comments, active content, and that look reputable. And you can tell when you look at a database or you look at places where articles are being posted whether or not they're reputable. When I did sign up for a article submission service at one point and had someone sending my articles to like 100 different databases. They were going to blogs that were not formatted correctly. They were just kind of like junk sites. They weren't actually resources for information. They were just not credible looking. The coding was just messed up. There were some things that were in different languages. Like it was just, you could tell that it was not you could tell right away that it was just not a credible source of information. So look around, do a search for best article databases, and you'll usually find a good top 10. I think we give you 4 or 5 that we use at the Land of Brand to promote our content. Radavisa's guideline for database, please. So I already answered that. Kim says, article marketing, do you mean easy in articles? Yes. Good questions. Okay, Brandon says, what if I don't have a blog website? Do you help in setting up a blog, utilizing WordPress, getting a website hosted, etc.? So this course is not a technical course. This course is strategy-oriented and marketing implementation. We don't provide guidance in how to set up your blog, how to post the blog, finding your host, that kind of thing. If you want help with that, Brandon, we do have a website design program where we do all of that for you. And we design the site, we help you write your content, we help you define your brand strategy. So Brandon, if you're interested in that, you can email me at holly@thelandofbrand.com and I will get you more information on that. But you definitely need to have a website for this course to be effective for you. This is for, this course is all about marketing your website. So we want to make sure you have that. And the core part of the strategy is blogging, so you will need to have a blog set up. Kim says the branded game is awesome. Thank you, Kim. Nancy says, when are the weekly teleseminars? The course starts on September 4th, and when does it end? So this is on the sales page. So I'm going to have to look at when it ends. But it's every Thursday, 2 o'clock Eastern. Starts on September 4th, and I believe it goes to, I'd have to look at a calendar. I think it's like October 9th. It's right before Columbus Day. And there are replays, so if you can't make every one, that's fine. We will send you the recording so that you can listen to it, and you're also getting individual feedback in the learning environment as well. Cindy says, how do you track the stats for the article databases? Great question. So when you log into your account on these databases, so when you you sign up for an account, and that's how you submit your articles. And when you submit articles to these databases, you're sending your content and you're also sending a resource box that sends people back to your website. So the way you track the statistics are when you log into your account, typically they have a reporting tool that will tell you how many people viewed the article on their website, how many people clicked through to your website. That's one way of looking at it. So we actually keep a spreadsheet that shows how many people are viewing an article and how many people clicked through. The other way of looking at it is if you're looking at your Google Analytics, you can see the sources of your traffic, see what websites people came from, and you can click on that and see which databases people are coming from. So it'll say, you know, this many people came from Biznic, this many people came from Self-Growth. It's not completely accurate because there's a little bit lost in translation between them clicking and them landing on your site, but it gives you a pretty good gauge on how many people are coming. The other thing is that you'll start to see the results in when people contact you. I always ask how they found us, and they'll say we found you on LinkedIn or we found you on Biznic. And the cool thing about these sites are that a lot of people can, a lot of them allow people to comment. So people can be commenting on your content and you can be responding and starting a conversation right there without them having to go to your website. So those are all great questions. Cindy says, which Google Analytics plugin do you recommend? So let's see, I recommend, I always install Google Analytics right into the theme because the theme when we build websites, we actually build Google Analytics right into it. But I use, I think it's called Google Analytics Dashboard. So if you search in WordPress plugins and look for Google Analytics Dashboard, I think there might be two, and either one of them are fine. I usually install those for clients because they will give you real-time statistics on your page level, how many page views per page you're getting. And actually, as I'm thinking about this, I'm realizing Google Analytics Dashboard gives you a reading of your Google Analytics, but I don't think it actually tracks it. So if you just search in your plugins, just search for install Google Analytics. I think there's a lot of them, and just look for one that has good ratings. All it's doing is something very, very simple, so you don't actually need anything crazy. all it's doing is taking the Google Analytics code and inserting it into the header of your website. So just look for one that is up to date and that has good reviews, and you should be good to go. But there's not any particular one that I could tell you by name. All right, and I don't see any more questions coming in. Let me just check my email real quick, see if there's any questions. Oh, great. I'm seeing that some of you guys are joining us. Fantastic and welcome. Great. So welcome, Cynthia. Welcome, Kim. I'm excited. We're going to have so much fun. Great. Welcome, Kate. Awesome. So still not seeing any questions coming in. All right, so if you guys have any questions that come in after we're done talking, you can email holly@thelandofbrand.com, and I'm happy to answer anything about the program, any questions you have in regards to what we talked about. If you're unsure if this course is going to be good for you, let me know. Let's talk. We'll see if it's a good fit. Obviously, no pressure at all. But I'm happy to answer any questions and see if it is for you and where you are at that moment. And I hope you all have a fantastic day. You have until, I already said I'd give you until 4 o'clock Eastern time to sign up if you want the Peaks of Personality bonus for free. And that is all. So have a fantastic day. I hope to see you in the program. We're going to have a ton of fun. We're going to really be implementing these strategies into your specific business with specific feedback tailored to you. And have an awesome day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.